104.7 The Cave. Mike the intern in the studio with Jay Stevens this morning. We are ripping it apart Wednesday.
I wish I wasn't wearing pants.
Isn't that how you always feel?
Yeah, kind of are.
All right, speaking of not wearing pants, I really don't know what that has anything
That was a
to do
good
with
segue.
it. But
Sultans rarely wear pants.
Sultans of Swing is definitely a song about not wearing pants. No, that's not true, but that is the song we are ripping it apart today. The really first single off the first album, self-titled debut album from Dire Straits.
Mr. Straits.
Mr. Straits himself came out in 1978, but it actually wasn't a hit until they re-released it in 79. When they did that, it was boom.
Yeah.
They finally made the money.
Yep. Made the money.
Made the money.
Chicks for free.
So how do you want to start this? You want to go with the bass, guitar, voice, or drums first? What do you want to do?
Ooh, guitar, I think. It really is.
Guitar?
It's a really driving rhythmic groove.
It is. It is a groove.
For lack of a better term.
Interestingly enough, when they first did this was part of a collection of demos that ended up getting them signed. Sultans of Swing was on that, in addition to Water of Love, Down to the Waterline, and Wild West End. And then Mark's brother wrote a song called Sacred Loving, and they actually put that on there as well. So when they first did this as the demo, he did it on a National Steel guitar in open tuning. Didn't like the song at all. Thought it sucked. He was like, man, it's dull. But then he got his first Strat in 1977.
Just like Jimi Hendrix.
Started playing it on the Strat.
Happens to them all.
It was a 61 Strat, I believe, and that was his main guitar for years and years and years, and the only thing that he played on the first album and what he used to play on this song. So let's get right into this guitar greatness from Mark Knopfler, and like you said, I mean, it's what makes the song.
Classic Fender amp sound.
So much tone.
It's got to be.
That finger pick rake is so good.
It doesn't need drums.
It is.
That could be the song.
And you know, it's got a really good Spanish feel to it.
Very.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he's talking about these musicians, I believe, trying to play their own version of rock and roll, there really isn't any kind of, you know.
I thought he was talking about oil sultans this whole time for the past 40 years. Past 40 years, I thought he was talking about baggy pants sultans.
No, not even close.
I was almost thinking it was maybe a prejudiced song against Middle Easterners.
You know what's funny is that a lot of songs that people write like this are always, I think, interesting when they create a story like this one, The Ballad of Curtis Lowe. Fictional characters they just kind of make up in their mind.
Purple Haze, he talked about if he did do drugs.
If he did, that's a fictional story. We'll get to part 2 of Rip It Apart Wednesday. We're tearing apart Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits.
Mr. Straits is in the house.
On 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave. Mike the intern back in the studio with Jay Stevens this morning. We are ripping it apart Wednesday. Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. You remember this song?
Yeah. You
do?
I think I remembered buying this 45 of this song.
Really?
Actually. Yeah. Yes. This and the Rolling Stones. I think I had the 45s. I think it was Miss You.
You know, I collect vinyl. I didn't really get into the whole 45s thing. Did you have a lot of 45s?
I didn't have much options. This was, in the 70s.
Cheaps.
In the 70s, and I was cheap. 70s, and I was in my teens.
Yeah, and so you
70. No, I was a young lad putting on records, and 45s were easy to get. And I would it was all about the hits. It was just all about the hits, I guess, with Jay Stevens.
And having to start it over and start it over.
And the cool little plastic Star Trek disc in the middle.
Yeah, that is the cool part of it.
Which you have a tattoo of.
I do.
I know.
Several.
I've seen it.
The UK, if you were talking about the 45 release, they had 2 different B-sides. In the UK, it was Eastbound Train. In the US, it was Southbound Again. No idea why they decided to split that up. Both of those songs are awesome. Yeah, so we kind of did the guitar. We'll get back to that guitar solo in a little bit, but you got to have a driving beat for this song. You know what I mean?
Listen to that kick. No pillow in that kick, it sounds like.
It does. It comes out.
Where would the bass player sleep then?
You bastard. Can I say that?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen many a bass player sleep in a bass drum pillow.
My head's in there. It's dark. It's easier. It's not a bad, I mean, it's pretty straightforward drums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what Mark Knopfler wanted, is he wanted a drummer that would kind of be on
It's
the
like
back
pushing, though. You hear where
Yeah.
the kicks are? It's pushing instead of laying back. It's kind of pushing it. See?
It's got its own subtle funkness to it, though. You know what I mean? It really does.
Oh, look at her.
It's simple yet extremely
mixing
complicated.
in the little open hi-hat.
There's a lot of things that he's doing in there that I think is very, very complicated. I mean, it sounds deceivingly easy, but it's not. I mean, some of those little things that he's doing, especially the way he's using his right foot, seems, boom.
And off time.
Yeah, off time with his driving.
Slick kid.
It is a slick kid.
If I do say so myself.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to be him for Halloween, perhaps.
The drummer for Dire Straits.
Yeah, that's
Nobody knows his name.
That's who I am for Halloween.
I will tell you who
Perfect
his
trick or
name
treat.
is. I will tell you who played
What is his
drums on
name?
this.
So I know.
Let's see here. The album Dire Straits. The drummer for this was Pick Withers.
Dude, Pick Withers.
Pick Withers. Who were you?
Remember
My
Pick
name is
Withers?
Pick Withers.
Remember that one? Remember the homecoming game when he stood on the trash can and
Pick Withers. He played drums for the Straits on their first 4 records, and I think he did a
Mr.
great
Straight
job.
must have liked him.
Yeah. We'll get to more of ripping it apart.
More
Dire
Pick Withers.
Straits, Sultans of Swing, and Pick Withers.
Oh, Pick Withers.
On the way next on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave. Mike the intern hanging with Jay Stevens in the studio today. It's Ripping Apart Wednesday. We are tearing down Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. We just found out who the drummer was on this record named Pick
Withers.
Which is weird because you'd think he'd be like stick or beat, but no, he went with a guitar thing.
Yeah,
but
I think he was probably a former bass player.
You think his parents were disappointed in him? They're like, we set you up to be a guitar player.
No, they set him up to be a corn farmer. So
just was like, no,
he shattered their hopes and dreams.
None of that stuff.
No maize for you, family.
I'm not touching it.
I'm going on tour with Mr. Straight.
And I'm not playing guitar, I'm playing drums. So this album actually was recorded in 78 at Badging Street Studios, and it was produced by Steve Winwood's brother. Did not know that. What do you think his name was? Do you think it was like Roy? Because Steve Winwood.
I'm going to say Dan Winwood.
Dan Winwood.
How close?
Wrong.
How close am I?
Muff Winwood.
Muff and Pick. I'm going out drinking with those two guys tonight.
Guy's name was Muff Winwood.
That could be my new Facebook profile, Muff Winwood.
Yeah, Muff Winwood. Ladies, look on Tinder soon for Muff Winwood.
And gentlemen, swipe on Grindr for Pick Withers.
That's Pick Withers. All right, so the vocals, very cool, laid back approach to this.
Bob Dylan-esque. When you hear it soloed like this, it's very Bob Dylan-esque.
Yeah, and on this track, it's kind of mixed with the vocal and guitar. They kind of put a little bit of rhythm guitar in there.
The old number two.
Vocals, so it's kind of mixed in there. Comes back and forth.
A little flamenco.
Yeah.
You get a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime.
It is
words to live by right there. Words to live by.
South of the river, you stop and you hold everything.
But he's just real kind of, he's not going all over the place.
A band is blowing Dixie, double fall time.
Well, he was out all night with Pick and Muff, so.
Yeah.
You feel alright when you hear the music ring.
Yeah, it's definitely Dylan.
Very Bob Dylan.
He sings it better than Dylan would.
Like you never knew it was so Dylan-esque until you hear it isolated.
Inside, but you don't see too many faces.
Well, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Coming in out of the rain, they hear the jazz go down.
I think the reason I like this song so much is because, like I was talking about earlier, it paints a picture. You know what I mean? It's not about chicks and cars. It's like you can be on the street. You can listen to this band that he's talking about. You can see the cars driving by. You can smell the nasty city air. It's all there.
Similar to Jukebox Hero. Perhaps that's where they got the idea.
Another good example of that. So we also got the bass on this thing. We got to throw that in there. Personally, I really don't like that bass tone at all.
I think he's picking now. Yeah. He's using a pick.
He's using a pick. And it's really not.
No.
I'm kind of like.
Who's the bass player? We're calling him out right now. Who is this character?
Not good at all.
What is his part in this caper?
It's probably.
What is his name? We got Pick and Muff.
No, it's John Isley.
Oh, well, that's the reason. His name's too normal.
He
He doesn't belong in this band.
he actually was one of the founding members and played with.
He looks fairly cool.
Played a big part in the sound that they kind of created. Actually formed another Celtic rock group back in 2005.
The music of the devil.
Played a lot of stuff with Dire Straits and then kind of went off on his own after that. Mark kind of started doing his own thing. We'll get to the cherry on top of Sultans
The money
Swing.
shot.
The money shot, as Jay would love to call it. On the way next, Rip It Apart Wednesday on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern back in the studio with Jay Stevens this morning. We are ripping apart Sultans of Swing for Rip It Apart Wednesday.
Two dudes pushing buttons.
Two dudes pushing buttons, messing things up, having to redo it 1,000 times. You guys have no idea how much work we put in here.
Picking Muff's greatest hits today.
Picking Muff's greatest hits. There's a reason that band never existed. So, Mark Knopfler, obviously known for his guitar skills. The guitar solo on the song is unbelievably good. And Guitar Geeks, just in case you're trying to emulate, if you happen to have a 61 Stratocaster.
Wait, is this a nerd alert?
He was
Nerd
using
alert.
the middle bridge pickup position on this thing. So that's kind of where he got this from.
Nerd alert.
Nerd alert. But I'm telling you, if you want to get close to it, that's what you got to do. I don't have a 61 Strat, so I'm not even going to try it at home. So let's get right into the solo here. It's coming up in just a minute. I love the solo. The finger picking style he uses in this is awesome.
Very flamenco scale,
so
man.
Good. And you can hear that he's using his fingers, right? But why in the hell was this bass player using a pick? Someone needed to go over there and slap that guy. You're not using a pick, bass player. If I'm not using a pick, you're not using a pick.
No, and the guy's got a normal name. He shouldn't be in the band. I think there's a mistake on Wikipedia.
Yeah, and those arpeggios he throws in there are just so good. It's really good.
Yeah,
so good. It's so
It's just,
simple.
you can
yet
hear him just
complex.
biting the strings
Yeah.
with his hand.